Hello, thank you for calling Elomed. Yeah, you've got the right number. How are you today? Good, okay. May I ask who I have the pleasure of speaking with? Okay. All right, well, my name is Violet, and I'm going to be helping you today. Great, Have you called and used our services before? No? Okay. Well, just so you know, we do work from our own home offices. We telecommute. So can I get a telephone number to call you back on in the event that we get disconnected for some reason? Okay. Okay, great. So let me just repeat. That is area code 208-485-2390. Is that correct? Okay, great. All right, so now that we have all of that taken care of, can I ask what you're calling about today? Okay. Okay, so this is a new doctor that you haven't been to before? And what's their name? Is that with an R? Okay. All right, and so you're getting on some new medication with this doctor? Okay. No, yes, that's correct. We do work with the GoodRx program. And so even if you don't have insurance, we can get you set up with that program. And they have a really great app as well. Whether you use the computer or your telephone, you can figure out which pharmacy near you has the best deal on whatever medication you've been prescribed. Right. Yeah, it'll have you type in the name of your medication and the milligram dosage that you're on, and also the quantity, how many pills were prescribed for each prescription. And then it will populate a list of all of the pharmacies, so they could be in a Walmart, in a grocery store, or an independent pharmacy as well. Yeah, lots of the pharmacies actually participate in the GoodRx program, so there's usually a lot to choose from. I know, it's a relief. Okay, so do you have the names of the prescriptions that you're getting started on? Okay, bear with me just one moment. Okay. Okay, so you're taking the Amerge, Amerge. Okay. Yes, it's naratriptan. But we will just use the easier name, Emerge. Okay. And how many pills per prescription? 60, okay. And do you know the milligram dosage on that? 30, okay. All right, and that one is for migraines. Okay. And you said you're taking one other. Okay. Just one moment again. Okay. Okay, so that's a Prozac. So that's fluoxetine or fluoxetine. Okay. Alright. And what was the quantity on that one? 30, okay. And then what was the dosage? 100, okay. And that's just a general depression, okay. Are you taking any other new medications? Okay, but you are on some already. Okay, before we get to those, could you tell me on the Emerge and on the Prozac, are either of them, do they have refills? Just the Emerge? Okay, and how many refills? 3, okay. And none for the Prozac at the moment? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty common when you're starting a new antidepressant or anxiety medication. A lot of the times providers want to make sure that everything is going along well before they give refills, just in case. Yeah, then you won't have to have any go to waste. Okay. Now with your old medications, you said that you've never used our medical service before. Okay, so we won't have a record of those. How many are you on? Okay, so an allergy medicine and an anxiety one. Okay, what is the name of the allergy medication that you're taking? Okay. Okay, so that's the Clarinex, is that what it's called? Okay, desloratadine. And let's see. How many is the quantity for each prescription that you fill? It's a 60 as well. Okay. And how many milligrams? 25. Okay. Alright, and that's for allergies. And are there refills on that one as well? Okay, so you just call in every few months? Okay, so it's a 3 refill and then a call in. And how long have you been taking that prescription? A little over a year? Would you say like 13 months, 14 months? Maybe a year and 3 months? Okay. It's okay if you're not perfectly accurate. Okay. And finally, you said you're on an anxiety. Okay. Yeah, that's the Lexapro. Okay, escitalopram. And same questions, I'm sorry. What's the quantity? 30. And how many milligrams? 75, okay. And that's for anxiety. And then are there refills on that? 5, okay. And do you remember about how long you've been on that one? Okay, so going on about 3 years. Okay. All right. So what we can do is I can use the online portal to set up your account. And then once we're through making it, you can, if you'd like to, change your password. You don't have to. We don't actually save that information, but if you just want to be safe, that is completely fine. Okay, so can I get your full name and will you spell it for me? Okay. Do you have a middle name? Okay. Okay, and what is your street address? And can you spell that for me, just to be safe? And is that road or avenue or boulevard? Okay, circle. Great. Do you live in an apartment or have a suite number or floor number? Okay. And what is your zip code? Okay. And that is in Highland. Okay. And what's a good email address that I can add for your account? Okay, and that's at Gmail. Okay. Great. Would you like for me to have them send you the newsletter? Yeah, I find that information doesn't always pertain, but sometimes you can get a good little tidbit or two. They do stay up to date with a lot of the sort of comings and goings that are happening in the news and whatnot. So if anything changes with any major drug companies, or if there's any issues with manufacturing or the supply chain, or things that might concern anyone who's taking a medication, they will kind of clue you into that and also let you know how they are handling it. Right, because yeah, so prescription drug prices in this area are actually not regulated. So depending on which pharmacy you go to, you might be paying more. Right, so this is kind of a way to filter that. Yeah. Exactly, and it will show you exactly which places near you are going to be the best by price, right? Yep, it's totally free, and the information that you just provided me is all that they need. Yep, it's really easy. And then sometimes you can get a physical card Right, kind of like a little business card. But since we did it online, you won't actually get one of those. You can probably print one off if you wanted to keep it with you in your bag or pocket or whatever you might carry around. Right. Yep, it's totally free. They actually populate your own like number, your identity number essentially with their company. It'll be your member ID, and then you have a group number just like you would on a regular insurance card. Yeah, and then the other thing you can do if you'd like to go paperless, as I was mentioning, they do have an app on the phone, and if you don't want to download the app, you can also sign in on your web browser on your phone. And then you're able to pull up the coupon that you would need to show the pharmacist when you're going to pay. Right, a good thing to do if you don't want to waste as much time at the pharmacy, you can actually give them your discount when you drop the prescription off. And the person who types in your prescription and starts getting it ready will apply that. So when you go to checkout, it will already be reduced to the appropriate price. Yes. Yeah, in my experience, it usually saves the your prescription number essentially, or your ID number I should say, so the next time you go back you won't have to do it again. Right, okay, so let's see here. So I've got you set up with that, and let's see, based on your information here, we'll type in your new medications. Okay. Okay, so for the, oops, I gotta change. Okay. So, let's see, we're doing the tablet. This website is showing that they have a 1 milligram, a 2.5 milligram, and a 3 milligram. And I think I had put down that you said 30 milligrams, but I might have heard you wrong. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's 3.0. Okay, good thing we cleared that up. So 3 milligrams, that would make a big difference, right? And do a custom quantity of 60. You are doing the tablets, correct? Not the dose packs? Okay, good. So it looks like in the pharmacy in your local grocery store, it would be $82. Yeah, it says their retail price is $1,031, so it's quite a big discount. And the nice thing is that this is 60 tablets, so you're getting 2 months worth. So really it's like $41 per month, which is a bit more manageable. Yeah, and if you don't have the $82 up front and you'd rather pay month to month, you can always call your physician's office and tell them that you'd rather do a 30 tablet than a 60, and they can change that prescription for you. Yeah, they can actually call it straight into the pharmacy if you have already selected. Right. And let's see how that would change. Okay, so if we do 30 tablets, the same pharmacy has it for $45.50. There's also options at Costco near you and a Walmart near you, but they're a little more expensive. The Costco is $70.54, and the Walmart is $75.95. Right, and there's also a mail order option for a lot of these prescriptions, including this one. And the great thing about this website and app is that it does give you all of the information. So you could do a $50 mail order with free shipping. And they also have this thing called a savings club, which is essentially a paid service for GoodRx that costs $6 a month, and they get you a little bit cheaper price. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you see that for a particular prescription that it's like significantly different, because in this particular prescription's case, the savings club price is actually more expensive than the pharmacy by a few dollars, and you'd be spending $6 a month. So right, I'd say if the difference was great enough to make a difference, then it'd be worth it, but in this case I would say it's not. They also have a little blurb at the bottom that says the ways to save on this prescription. It says if you do a 90-day price, and there's also a lower cost alternative. It says sometimes there are other prescriptions in the same class of drugs, so they work the same way. They can treat your condition at a much lower cost in the same way. So you can ask your provider if there's anything, a different generic that's less expensive. Right, and the 90-day tablet, so if you called them and let them know that you wanted to do a 90-day up front, that's $118. So let me see here. Okay, so we would do so that would work out to $39.50 per month. So from the 45, you'd be saving just about $6 per month, which, to some people isn't enough to be worth the trouble, and to others it is. So that would just be up to you. Okay, and yes, that was for the Naratriptan, the Emerge. Okay, so let's take a look at your Prozac as well. Alright, so this one is, obviously this has been around for a really long time. Maybe that's not obvious, but Prozac is one of those drugs that is great for the fact that it's never really that expensive. Right. And did they do the same with this one? We had said 100 milligrams. I don't know why they'd be using a decimal point. That's extremely strange, but the website here only has 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, or 40 milligrams. So did you want to recheck that? It is 10. Okay. This is why we go through it together. Okay. So, and you had a 30 pill quantity, and that's the capsules, correct? Yeah, they also have tablets, an oral solution, and a package. It's capsules, okay. So, Yeah, this one is only $3. If you go to Target, Walgreens, or CVS, it's $10. But if you go to either of your grocery stores that look like they're pretty close by to you, or Costco, it's only $3. Oh, excuse me, that was for the Savings Club. But good news still, the Winn-Dixie near you, it's only $4. And then, yeah, that's definitely the cheapest one, but the next one is $6.28 from Walmart. And then there's a $6.95 from your other grocery store, and then Costco has it for $8.11. Yeah, this one does have mail order as well. They have two options. One is through Mail My Prescriptions, and the other is through Health Warehouse. The Mail My Prescriptions is $7.80, and the Health Warehouse is $9. Yep, so this one's not bad at all. I know sometimes when one prescription is very expensive, it ends up being really scary because you think they're all going to be that bad, but thankfully a lot of these are not that bad. And then there's also a 90-day supply option, which I don't know if your physician would be willing to do that right off the bat, because as I mentioned earlier, they kind of like to see how things are going most of the time. But maybe you could ask about it. If you do a 90-day supply, it's $9.83, so that's $3.28 essentially per month. So that would be just a little bit cheaper, less than $1, but it's still something. Okay, great. So this website also has a panel to the left. Your prices is the tab that we've been in. Then there's a Medicare, which, are you on Medicare? No, okay, so you can ignore that one. There's a drug information selection, and then there's a side effects and an images. The images is nice because it shows you all the different ways that your medicine could potentially look, which is great because you can always be sure that you got the right thing. Sometimes when you're filling a generic prescription, and especially if you're bouncing around pharmacies, the pills might look different from month to month, and that can be a little unsettling because you're not sure if you're taking something different. Right, so for example, for the generic Prozac, the fluoxetine, there are 6 different capsule options. The first one has a navy blue top and a white bottom. The next one is white with a green band. The third one is baby blue and a sort of mustard gold color. The fifth one is a really soft muted green. There's another white one with a green stripe and some writing, and finally a different shade of blue. So they're very different looking, and this is a great way to make sure that you are taking the right thing and you don't have to worry about that. There's also a long list of interactions and potential medical issues, precautions, just essentially just things to know, potential drug interactions. There's also a great website, let's see, especially since you're taking 4 medications now, it's great to go to, there are 2 really that are pretty reputable. The first one is just drugs.com, and the second one is rxlist.com. elomed.com, and you can type in the name of the drugs that you're prescribed and hit add for each one, and then it will tell you if there are any interactions between your different prescriptions. Right. And you can actually just start typing it in and it will put it in for you. Like, it populates a list. Sorry, I didn't say that very well. So let's see here. I'll check you out. Okay, so it does look like there are some potential issues with, really it's with taking the nartriptan with the other prescriptions that you're on. So I wonder if that was an accident, or if your doctor decided that it's not as risky for you. Did you guys discuss that at all? Yeah, I would call back before, because if you guys were going back and forth about certain drugs and maybe your physician just kind of forgot what all you were on already, or maybe, you know, if you guys talked about the Prozac after the migraine. Yeah, especially since they did a wonky thing with the milligram dosage as well. That might have been a mistake. I would just call and ask about that, because it does look like there are some pretty serious or potentially serious interactions between those two that they prescribed you. Right? Those were from the same physician? Oh, okay, so it was the same office, but two different doctors. Okay. Yeah, they might not have discussed anything in between seeing you, and then if you guys didn't talk about it. Right. Yeah, I would just hate to see something happen that doesn't need to happen. So that's why we use this website as well. Right. So I would call and ask about that and make sure that is something that should be done. I'm going to highlight this in red in our system and mark it as a potential problem. And that way you'll have to call back and yeah, my name is Violet again, so if you wanted to speak with me, that would be fine, and we could just fix it at that point. No, I totally understand. I absolutely don't like having to discuss with a new person when you've already told your whole spiel to one person. So let me just make a note. One moment. Okay, so I just made a note of the date and time and our case number, and I put that you'd like to speak with me when you do call back, so your call will be routed to me at that point in time, and we can go back into the system and fix it. Okay. All right, great. But we do have your GoodRx account set up, so that's good. Yep, and you can use your information to, it should have sent you an email, so that'll give you your login info, and everything else is all set. I actually have your, all your drugs in there, but they're on hold because of that interaction. Yeah, I would call them back today if possible, if not tomorrow, to get that figured out. Okay. And then just for Elomed tools, we actually have to do a little bit of an intake. Is that okay? Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you some questions off of a piece of paper that I have here, and I'm just going to type your answers into my computer. Okay, so we've already got your name and your date of birth, and we've discussed GoodRx and your prescription, so this first page is good. The next one is going to be if you have a current therapist. Okay, and what's their name? So with a T. Okay. And what is the name of their practice? I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? Okay. Alright, great. Do you happen to know their phone number? That's okay, I can look it up. And what are the sort of issues that you guys are working through there? Okay, so some social anxiety, compulsive thoughts, okay. Anything else? Okay, so you're using a little bit of cognitive and a little bit of dialectical behavior therapy. Okay, and do you have workbooks or worksheets for those? Okay, so you're doing photocopies. Okay, that's great. Sorry, my pages are stuck together here. Okay, here we go. What are your treatment goals? Yeah, so essentially just what do you expect to receive out of therapy? What would you like to see for yourself? Okay. Okay, that's great. Anything else that you'd like to put? No, okay. All right, and then I have a little bit of a checklist here. Okay, so if any of these symptoms are present, just let me know. If they feel major, you can just tell me that they are major, or you can say twice, or you can say double yes, whatever you'd like, to let me know that that is something very serious for you right now. Okay, so the first one is depressed mood. Okay. Unable to enjoy activities. Okay. What about a general loss of interest? All right. How is your concentration or forgetfulness? Okay. Have you had a change in your appetite, whether that's eating more or less? Okay. And what about any feelings of excessive guilt? Okay. How about fatigue? Okay. And decreased libido? Okay. All right, in the next column here we have racing thoughts. Okay. How about impulsivity? Okay. Do you have increased risky behavior? Okay. And how about increased libido? Okay. Okay, how about a decreased need for sleep? Okay. And excessive energy? All right. How about increased irritability? Okay. And what about crying spells? Okay. All right, in our final column. Okay, you're doing great. How about excessive worry? Yes, okay. And anxiety attacks, have you had any? Just pretty consistent, okay. What about avoidance? Okay. And have you had any hallucinations? Okay. And how about feeling suspicious? More so than usual. Okay. All right, next we're going to move into a suicide risk assessment. Right, and even if patients aren't taking an antidepressant or an anxiety medication, we do the same intake paperwork with everyone because every prescription can have a different effect on everyone who takes it. So if someone's feeling great and then they start taking a medicine and the next time we check in with them they're not doing so great, it's a very clear indicator to us that that medicine is not acting as intended, and that would be a red flag, something that we would want to step in and address. So this is not a discriminatory or invasive sort of questionnaire. It's just standard for everyone to ensure that our patients have their best health at all times. Okay, thank you for understanding. So in this risk assessment, the first question is kind of broad, and it is, have you ever had feelings or thoughts that you didn't want to live? And this is a yes or no. Okay. So, do you currently feel that you don't want to live? And how often do you have these thoughts? Okay. Okay. When was the last time that you had thoughts of dying? Has anything happened recently that has influenced these feelings for you? Right, so death in the family or loss of job, issues at home. Right, I know things are crazy right now in general for everyone, so. Okay, all right. How about, you may be familiar with this term, do you have any suicidal ideation, so any thoughts about how you're going to or how you would perform something like that? No? Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Okay. Do you feel hopeless or worthless currently? Okay. And have you ever tried to harm yourself before? Okay. I'm glad that you're doing okay, and hope that it continues. I know, as I said, things are very, very difficult right now, but it's always just a mark of how wonderful and strong we can all be. Right. Okay. Do you have any allergies? Right. Okay, so that medicine is for like grasses. Okay. Do you know what your current weight is? And do you know what your height is? Okay. All right. Have you had any past medical problems that required hospitalization or surgery? Okay. Have you ever had an EKG? Okay. Alright, so next what we're going to do is run through a personal and family medical history. And we're going to knock it out at the same time. So I'm going to list a condition, and you'll let me know if you had it or if a family member had it or has it. And also, if it is a family member, excuse me, what their relationship is to you. So, for example, mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, etc. And you don't really have to go outside of that sort of family unit. So, aunt, uncle, grandparents, parents, and siblings. Okay, great. So, the first condition is thyroid disease. Okay. Next is anemia. Okay. How about liver disease? Okay. All right. And chronic fatigue. Okay, so you and your grandmother, is that on your mother's side or your father's side? Okay. All right, how about kidney disease? Okay. Diabetes. And is she on your mother's side or father's side? Okay. What about asthma or any respiratory issues? Your brother. Okay. Stomach or intestinal problems? Okay. Any cancer in the family? Okay. How about fibromyalgia? Heart disease? How about epilepsy or seizures? Okay. Anyone living with chronic pain? Okay. Any high cholesterol? Alright, high blood pressure? Any major head trauma? And liver problems? And is there anything else that you'd like to add to this list? And that's your sister? Okay. Okay, do you happen to know when your mother was pregnant with you, were there any complications? Okay. And what about during your birth? Okay. Alright, I've already talked about your medication. Do you exercise regularly? If you had to say, how many days a week? Okay. And for how long? Okay, that's fair. I can put a range, okay? And you kind of already answered this, but just to make sure for the record, what kind of exercise do you do, right? Okay, so some biking, walking, and some swimming. And dance too? Okay, good. Alright, the next is a family history for psychiatric, potential psychiatric issues. The last one was for medical, like physical. Okay, so has anyone in your family been diagnosed with or treated for the following? Bipolar disorder, depression, and this can be just yes, no, you don't have to say who. Okay. Anxiety, anger, suicide, schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress. Is there any alcohol abuse in your family? What about other substance abuse? And is there violence? Okay. Have you yourself ever been treated for substance or alcohol abuse? Okay. How many days per week do you drink alcohol? Okay. And what's the least number of drinks you'll have in a day? 0. And what is the most? Okay. In the past 3 months, what is the largest amount of alcoholic beverages you've consumed in one day? Okay. Okay. Have you ever abused a prescription medication? Alright, and this is another yes or no, and it's going to be about illegal drugs. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not going to, or I don't have the authority to tell anyone about this. This is all private and confidential. We are in a health a contract together, so everything that you tell me, I do not have any jurisdiction to tell anyone else unless I believe that you're going to harm yourself or someone else. So it doesn't matter to me if you say yes to any of these things. Right, there's no fear of getting in trouble, essentially. And it is important to be honest about these things because they can impact how certain drugs react with you, even if you're no longer taking or using them. Okay, so how about methamphetamine, cocaine, stimulants in the form of pills? Okay, and how about heroin? Any LSD or other hallucinogenics? Marijuana? Okay, painkillers, but not as they were prescribed. Have you been on methadone? Okay. How about any tranquilizers or sleeping pills? Right, in the form of not how you're supposed to take them. Okay. All right, what about, have you abused alcohol? And what about ecstasy? And anything else? Okay. How many coffees do you drink in a day? What about sodas? And how about tea? Hot or cold? Okay. Let's see here. Have you ever smoked cigarettes? Do you currently? Okay. Do you use a pipe or any cigars or chewing tobacco? And have you ever? Okay. All right, we're going to move into some family background and your childhood history, okay? Are you doing all right? I know this is a lot. Okay, well, after this we will be done, so we're almost there. Okay. Were you adopted? Okay. Where did you grow up? Right, like city and state. Okay. Can you tell me your siblings and their ages? Okay. What is or was your father's occupation? And your mother's? Okay. Did your parents divorce? Okay. Let's see. Describe your father and your relationship with him. You can be brief if you'd like. Okay. And same for your mother. Okay. All right. If you have left home, how old were you when you did? Okay. Has anyone in your immediate family passed away? Okay. All right. Into your educational history, what is your highest grade of school completed? And where did you go? Okay. Did you attend any college? Okay. right. For your occupation, currently, are you working, a student, unemployed, disabled, or retired? Okay. Alright. And how long has this been your situation or status or occupation? Okay. Have you ever served in the military? Okay. Are you currently married, partnered, divorced, single, or widowed? Okay. Alright. Are you sexually active? And how would you identify your sexual orientation? Okay. Do you have any children? Okay. And who all do you currently live with? All right, 2 more questions. Have you ever been arrested? All right, and final category, spiritual life. Do you belong to a particular religion or spiritual group? Okay. All right. That is good. Just gonna file this away. Okay, I have all the information that I need from you. I apologize that that was very long. But I appreciate all of your honesty, and I know those questions aren't always easy to answer, so I'm just going to, again, note the time. Did you have any other questions for me? So your next steps would be to call back your physician's office and ask them about the potential interactions between your Emerge and your Prozac, your 2 new prescriptions, and see if that was what they meant to do for you because of the interactions, which again you can look those up, drugs.com or rxlist.com. And I have a note that says that you'd like to speak with me when you call back. And I have all of your information on file, so after you call us back, we'll get those prescriptions set up through GoodRx. They'll be in your account permanently and ready to use. You can use either the app or you can print out a coupon and take that to your pharmacy when you drop off your prescription, or pick it up if it's something that's called directly in. And then at that point, you'll be all set up and good to go. However, Elomed will call you back about every 30 days to check in and see how your mental health is, see how your physical health is, make sure that you are happy and doing okay with your prescriptions, and that you're not having any issues with GoodRx or anything else. Okay. Alright, great. Well, it was a pleasure to speak with you today. Absolutely. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and you're doing okay and can get some relaxing done now that you've completed all of this stressful stuff. Alright, great. Okay, thank you. You as well.